Let's make the yummiest gizdodo together, shall we? So in a clean pot, add your neatly washed gizzard. So I washed this gizzard a couple of times so that we ensure that it's very clean. I added my salt basically, and then I added my seasoning cubes. Okay, after which I just added my curry powder. Okay, so so that's my curry powder, and after adding my curry powder I added thyme. Okay, after adding this I also chopped up some onions and then added it to it. Then I stirred it all up. Okay, after stirring this and ensured that they all mixed up properly, I just went ahead to add a little water to this and then covered it all up. Okay, and okay, I also stirred a little bit more to ensure everything mixed up together, then covered it up and allowed it to boil. Then in a saucepan I added my olive oil, which I used in frying up every other thing I need to fry. So firstly I fried my gizzard. Okay, the gizzard, after I boiled it I just fried up everything. If you notice, I just added like 2 pieces to ensure that the oil was hot enough before I could pour in the rest of it. Now you notice that onions I chopped up is showing in this oil. I always like onion infused oil for frying, but if you do not like that, please go ahead and blend your onions and not chop it up. Okay, that way you won't be seeing these onions inside your oil. But like I said, I like it, so I just went ahead to do that. And I forgot to mention that when you're cutting up your gizzard, you want to cut it in tiny bits. Okay, very very tiny, so that it can be biteable sizes. You understand what I mean? Like, now the gizzard is properly fried, so I'm trying to take it out of the oil. And honestly, you do not need to change any oil. If you notice, the onion is still very much visible in the oil, but I really do not mind. So I added my plantain when I took off the gizzard, and then just spread it out to ensure that everything is well spaced for it to fry properly and faster. Okay, which afterwards I just allowed this to just do its work, just fry up, and after for minutes I took it off because it was properly fried. Okay, so I just took my time to take this off the heat before I start making my sauce. So for my sauce I use tatashe, tomatoes and shombo with onions. Okay, so in my hot oil I poured in my tomato mix or pepper mix, whatever it is you call it, and then I stirred it all up together, and then I allowed this to fry. Okay, when I realized that this has fried up a bit, like you can see, the water in it has properly dried, and it's now time to add the star ingredient of this sauce, and that is my plantain and my gizzard. So I poured this all up in together. I added my seasoning cubes. Eventually I realized I didn't film that part, but I added seasoning cubes and I added salt. Okay, and stirred it up together. Now you want to take your time and stir this up. I went off to just take my time and stir this up properly, and you can see everything is well mixed. I eventually added some stock. For the stock I use in cooking the gizzard. Okay, the reason is because I wanted to loosen up the sauce, because I felt it was a bit too dry. And remember, I want to use this to eat other things like potato or yam or whatever, but for this particular recipe I used potato to have it. So I wanted it to be loosened up a little bit, so that when I'm trying to dip the potato in, you get what I mean, like when I want to take sauce, at least I can get something and it will be too dry. So afterwards I just stirred this all up together. I allowed this to boil up for a while before I added the last things, which is spring onions and some roughly chopped bell peppers. Okay, for this particular recipe I used just the red bell pepper, but if you can see the yellow one and add as well, just to add to the color, and just go ahead and add that. Stir this all up together, and that is it. Your gizdodo is ready. It doesn't even take a long time, I promise you. The only time it's going to take is to just cut up the ingredients, but once you do, it doesn't take a long time to make. Thank you so much for watching. If at this point you haven't subscribed to my channel, please, it's free, I beg you, subscribe to my channel. Okay, like this video and drop me a comment. Let me know you stopped by. I want you to also try this and let me know what you think. Okay.